What's going on, folks? This is Jamiel Cal-Pin of Cal-Pin Creations, and I'm here with another video to help you start making quality audio content on a budget. Whether it's music, whether it's podcasts, whether it's you're doing voiceover work or anything like that, cost does not have to stop you from creating anything, okay? So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips on recording good audio, particularly for like podcasts or if you're doing any voiceover kind of stuff. All right. So the first thing is your mic position. I'm sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I'm nervous with my hands. So I'm just going to be real and honest with you guys. I'm a little nervous, but that's okay. The first thing we're going to talk about is just like your mic position. So it's really important that you place your mic in the right place when you're recording your audio. So right now, my microphone is off the camera, so you can't even see it. But I'm going to use this microphone as an example. What you want to do is when you're recording your audio for your podcast or whatever else, you want your mic, the front of the mic, and every mic looks different, but you can find where the actual recording is happening. It's usually at the top, or if you have like a condenser microphone, it's going to be like on the side. And you can usually tell because the label is there on a condenser microphone. Wherever the label is, or there's like a little picture, that's the front of the microphone. So for this dynamic type of microphone, this is the front. You want your mic to be between 6 to 10 inches from your mouth. So the rule of thumb that I've used and that I've learned is that you want the space between your pinky and your thumb from your mouth. So in this case, it would be like this. So it's about 6 to 10 inches. And you know, it depends on your hands. If you have small hands, it might not be 6 to 10 inches, but you want to be in that relative space, okay? From your mouth when you want to do that from when you're recording. So you don't want it to be too far because then it'll sound empty and thin because the microphone is not picking up all of the detail and quality of your voice. So you want it to be just in the right sweet spot. And you don't want it to be too close. If it's too close, and then it will start to sound muffled, and you'll also start to get like a lot of mouth noise and things like that. So whenever you hear like, yeah, you want to try to minimize that as much as possible. You also want to put your mic off axis. So what that means is you don't want your microphone to be directly in front of you. You want it to be off. On axis is right in front of the microphone. It's directly head on. You want to be off of it. You want the microphone to be off. So right now, my actual microphone that I'm recording into to record this video is off axis. If it was on axis, it would be looking directly lined up right where the camera is. You don't want that. You want it to be off axis. This helps with minimizing what's called plosives. And that's things you get from like P sounds or B sounds. And that can be very disruptive. And it can be really hard to edit out on the back end when you're with the audio that you're recording. And it doesn't sound that great for your listeners. Another thing is if you don't have a microphone like this or like a condenser microphone, you might be recording into your phone. And so I would suggest the same kind of rule of thumb when recording on your phone, but it may be a little less than 10 inches. It might be like 6 to 5, because the thing is, the microphones on your cell phone are actually designed to pick up and are configured to pick up voice quality pretty well, especially on a lot of smartphones and things now. Microphones pick up really good, actually. And so it doesn't need to be too close and it doesn't need to be too far. Again, you want to be in that sweet spot about 6 inches or, you know, thumb to the end of your pinky. And you can just hold your phone at a distance like that, again, off axis, and just hold it to your side. And that way, the microphone on your phone is going to do exactly what it needs to do. It's just like if you're talking to somebody on a speakerphone, you know, you don't want it to be too far because then you'll hear the room or the person will sound distant, and you don't want it to be too close because then it'll be too loud and it'll be overwhelming to the listener. So you just want it in the right sweet spot, again, about that, you know, 6 inches, maybe 5 or 6 inches. And you just hold it there while you're recording. Or if you want to put it down, place it down on something or whatever. That's a good mic position. And that's critical and very, very important to recording good audio. The second thing that you want to do is check your recording level. So when you're recording your audio, especially if you're using like a DAW, like right now I'm using the free open source DAW called Audacity. And again, it's free to download. So you don't have to go out and get anything expensive. You can use free software to help you do what you need to do in recording podcasts, doing any voiceover work or anything like that. And so you want to record your audio, have your audio in the sweet spot. And the way to identify that you're recording your audio in the sweet spot is that you use this gauge right here. And it shows you the recording level. It shows you the level of the audio that's being input into your recording, into the software, and into your computer. So like right now, this is what it sounds like. This is the range that I'm in right now. So you can see this is my voice. I talk la da 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 da. Anyways, so this is the range. So the sweet spot that you're actually trying to look for, that you're trying to get into, is really between -9 and -3. So -3 is too loud. Like you don't want something to be too much over that. From time to time, you might be able to. From time to time, you'll maybe say something or whatever, or maybe you're really excited. You might get over -3, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But you don't want all of your audio to constantly be over -3, because then when you're trying to record or make any edits and stuff, it's going to be too loud. And on the opposite, -9 is a good base that you want your audio to be in. Bare minimum, you really want your audio to be above -12. So your functional range for good audio is between -12 and -3. -12 and -3. But your sweet spot is really between -9, -6, and -3. If you can really get your stuff between -6 and -3, you're golden. You're in a really good place. But if all you can do right now is get between -9 and -3 consistently, so in the range of your conversation, so in general, just your overall average speaking, you want it to be as close to -9 and between -3 as possible. That's your good sweet spot. So although you can amplify what you record afterwards, you want to make sure that what you're recording into your DAW or even your phone or whatever, you want to make sure that is at good quality, because it's a lot harder to try to fix bad sound than it is to try to sweeten or make better good sound. So that's why you want that sweet spot between -6 and -3. And again, that range, that broad range, is -12 and -3. You want to be in that range so that if you need to do compression or turn it up or anything like that, it won't overmodulate, it won't get too loud, it won't distort or anything like that. That's important. You want to make sure the recording in the audio that you're putting in to your podcast or whatever voiceover work you're doing, you want to make sure that that is at a good range, so that when you put effects on it or anything like that, it'll be quality. It'll be of good quality for you to work with. It's really, really tedious and not easy to try to fix bad sound. So to save all of the headache and things like that, make sure that you have good sound up front. All right, number 3, and the third tip on recording good audio for your podcast or anything like that is you want to try to minimize reverb, noise, and any ambient sounds. So ideally, in like a professional setting, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Like you would record in a studio, and the audio that you're recording would be considered dry. And that means it's not affected by anything. So there's no reverb, there's no echo, there's no any other sounds. It's as pure as it can be. The audio is as pure as it can be. But just because you don't have, a fancy or professional studio, like I don't even have a fancy professional studio right now. Like these are just moving blankets to help minimize the echo that I hear or that happens in this room. And whenever I'm doing voiceover work, I do a little bit more treatment and put up some more moving blankets and things like that to try to dampen that sound. But just because you don't have those things, you can still record audio. You can still record your podcast. Because the reality is, like, for podcasting and some audiobooks and some things, there's a range of acceptability when it comes to how good your sound is. The most important thing is that your audience and your listeners can actually hear you. Now, if there is some reverb, if there is some echo or anything like that, as long as it's not distracting, as long as it doesn't sound like you're in a cathedral or that you're in a cave and it's just echoing over and over and over, long as it's clear enough that they can hear you and it's not distracting, you are good to go to start recording your podcast, or even like, simple voiceover kind of stuff. Maybe not high quality professional things, but if you wanted to do like a short story or maybe even an audiobook, you can do that. Another thing in trying to record good audio is that you can put yourself in a good environment to record in. So yeah, maybe you don't have a professional studio or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure you might, more than likely, you have a closet. And if your closet is full of clothes or coats or anything like that, that is a good place to record your audio. Again, you could take your laptop in there, you can take your microphone or whatever, you can take your cell phone into your closet, and the clothes and the coats and things that you have hung up, those will dampen the sound, and that will help your audio to be more dry and to be a clearer signal when a clearer content when you're recording. That's what you want. So if you have a clothes or a coat closet, that's a good place to record. Another good place to record is inside of a car. For some reason, cars are designed and have pretty decent acoustics inside of them. And ideally, I think it's best. The idea is cars are designed to block out sound, a lot of sound that's around you. So other cars, noise, honking horns and stuff like that, but also to create a comfortable environment for those who are in the car. So like if you're listening to your favorite music or whatever, you don't want to be in a box with wheels on it and the audio sucks. Like you want to listen to your favorite song. Like you want it to be able to be enjoyable and things like that, or you want to be comfortable enough to have a conversation with the passengers that are in the car with you. That's why cars are kind of designed that way. And it's super beneficial for those who are trying to record podcasts or do some voiceover. Like I have done voiceover work, like a voiceover gig in a car, because I needed to, and that was the only environment, and it worked, and I got paid for it, But recording a podcast or recording anything, recording any kind of audio, if you're able to set yourself up in a car, the acoustics in there are pretty darn good. To minimize reverb, noise, any ambient noise that could be a distraction. So if your apartment or your home doesn't have, it's not the best place to record, find a closet or go record in your car. Also, when it comes to reverb and noise and stuff like that, you also want to be careful of where you're recording in your house or even in your car or wherever you are. You want to avoid things like refrigerator or like an AC unit or HVAC, or even if you're near somebody, like a bathroom and somebody's taking a shower, don't do that. Try to avoid that. You don't want any kind of distractions to color or mess up the audio that you're recording, because who wants to be listening to a podcast and you hear a toilet flush? Like that's not cool. So do your best to try to find the best place in your home or wherever you are that you're trying to record, so that you can minimize those ambient noises. And another thing, if you are, like for my wife and I, we live in an apartment building, and if you're in an apartment building and certain times of the day it's noisy, you have noisy neighbors, or you just hear a lot of sounds and stuff like that, another thing you can do is, and trying to make sure you have a good recording, is time it just right. So maybe, a lot of people are out and about or busy, during the day. So maybe in the middle of the day is a good time for you. Or, if you're working a regular 9 to 5 or whatever, and the only time you have is when you get home, maybe you have to wait till it's really late when most people are asleep so that you can record, so that you're not hearing people's TVs or your neighbors or anything like that, whether it's really late or really early. That may be the best thing that you can do, is find the right time so that you can have good recording, so that you can get good, clear audio. So those 3 things, again, is making sure that your mic position is right, making sure that your recording level is good, and the third thing is minimizing any reverb, noise, or any ambient noise like that. So thanks again, guys, for watching this video. Thank you for bearing with me as I'm, struggling. I'm trying to create this content because I want to help you all to go out and make whatever you want to make, whether it's podcasting, whether it's music, whether it's doing any kind of voiceover work, or any kind of creating any kind of audio content. I've been creating audio content for a very long time now, 10 plus years, and I've I haven't always had everything that I needed, so I've figured out how to create pretty good stuff on a budget. And I know cost doesn't have to be a reason to stop you from creating the things that you want to create. And even if you want to learn these skills as a hobby, or if you want to add it to your professional repertoire, that's why this channel is here. This is what I want to help you do. I want to help you out. So thank you again for watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything else that you need help with in creating your audio stuff, whether you're working on a podcast, whether you're working on music, whether you're trying to do stuff with voiceover and voice acting, or any other kind of audio entertainment. Until next time, go create stuff, have fun, and don't let costs stop you from anything. Okay? Don't let costs stop you from creating your next masterpiece. Till then, talk to you guys later. See ya.